When it comes to election night next week, it's 1 week from today. It's finally here. Next Tuesday, what races are you watching that you think will be indicative of whether it's going to be a blue wave, a red wave, or somewhere in between? What do you think are the most telling races?
Well, historically, the polls that close first sort of give you an idea of how the rest of the night may be going. And Indiana is a state where we have a competitive Senate race. And that's going to indicate to us potentially how things may go elsewhere. But the truth is we may not know the outcome until the very late hours or even weeks after in the event of close races or recounts. You know, we've got two very high-profile, close statewide races in Florida, and it's always going to go down to the line. So I keep my eyes open for Indiana early night to get some indicator, but we may not know for days, if not weeks.
Well, I certainly hope that's not the case, although we will on One America News be following all the races. Special coverage that night. It's going to be great. We hope everyone tunes in. So something that you and I have talked about before, Matt, this is your specialty. This is what your organization works on. You talk about one of the biggest factors in whether midterm elections go to one party or the other is voter registration, the get out the vote. And that's one of the things you use. You look for a predictor of how you think each party is going to do in the elections. Tell me about that, and then tell me what you've seen in this election.
Yeah, well, the news on this front is really morbid. Left-wing financiers like Tom Steyer and George Soros have dumped tens of millions of dollars into basically the old Acorn organization to begin registering hard-left progressive people. And if you just look at a state like Texas, Republicans or conservatives have registered about 250,000 people. Progressives have registered over 600,000. That's unsustainable. And, you know, it won't matter how good our candidates are or how good the campaign is run. With those kinds of numbers, just imagine what kind of country this would be like if Texas started voting like California.
Right. A very, very depressing country, and I say that as a resident of California. So you decided to do something about this. You're now the executive chairman of an organization called Lookahead America, and you focus on finding Republican voters and registering them to vote, doing sort of the same thing but opposite goal of what these left-wing financiers that you're talking about do. You're trying to get people, Republicans, new voters, out, get them to the polls. Tell me about it.
What? Minor correction is a 501c3. We don't register Republicans, but we do register patriotic conservative voters. We're made up of 30 former Trump campaign staffers, and we're the only ones on our side that are aggressively pursuing the objective of voter registration and voter turnout. We're going to be involved in this election, turning people out in a few different select congressional races that are very close, making sure that these patriotic conservative voices are heard. If anybody wants to help us, they can either volunteer and contribute through our website, which is lookaheadamerica.org. We're trying to be the Acorn of the right, but we need a lot of help because we don't have a George Soros or Tom Steyer in our pocket. We're just the grassroots and the grassroots leadership.